Stop explaining yourself. I should end the message right there because I've delivered the message. Stop explaining yourself. I used to hate when I was working as an attorney for the Social Security Administration for the United States government. I hated having to tell people where I was. I hated a supervisor being like, "Where are you?" It didn't matter if you got all your work done early, it didn't matter if there wasn't really anything to do. They wanted you at your desk. If you were away from your, MS Teams, they would be like messaging you and then emailing and then calling your phone like, "Where are you? Give me an update on this thing." Ugh, I was indignant. It was so like such an affront. I'm just like, who do these people think they are asking me to explain myself in any way, what I'm doing, where I am? Why do they need to know? Ugh. I've always hated that. In fact, I've always kind of, since I was probably a kid, but like certainly a teenager, I was like, I'm a good kid. I get good grades. I'm in sports. I'm a kind person. Like, why also does it feel like everyone's always on my back about like, where are you? What are you doing? What are you writing? What's always wanting to know? And it's like, now I realize I don't have to explain myself, and neither do you. And now that you're stepping into your power, you are realizing more and more how your nervous system is still, calibrated to trying to explain yourself to some authority outside of you. Some authority, because sometimes even it's you. You're trying to explain yourself to you. You want to do a thing, and then you're telling yourself, well, have I done this thing? Have I done this? Have I rested enough? Have I done this? And if all of those things, if you've passed that explanation, then you can do the thing you want. Babe, just do it. All right, before we get any further, let me introduce myself, okay? Hi, my name is Sheba. I am a shadow alchemist, transformation specialist, and ex-lawyer, and I help powerful, visionary, highly successful women and cycle breakers unleash their true selves, walk in purpose as divine disruptors, and create the life of their dreams. So one of those things, like what one way to cultivate all of those things is getting used to not explaining yourself. You want to disrupt a thing? Refuse to explain yourself when someone is expecting you to explain. They're like, "What do you mean by this? Elaborate on this." And you're just like, "No." That's something I learned in the past couple of years. You can, try to demand an explanation for someone's behavior all you want, but they can always just go, they can just refuse to answer. And so can you. Remember when we were little kids and, our parents would say, "Okay, we're going to this place, and okay, now we're going to this place, now we're doing this." They never really explained why, and if you were maybe bold enough to be like, "Why do we have to do this?" They're like, "Because I said so." So we're used to, someone else being able to, move us around, to be able to move through the world without giving us an explanation. But I feel like we feel like we're always that little kid who, if our parents want to know why we are doing something, we better have an explanation ready, right? They're quick to be like, "Explain yourself." And they expect an answer. But you got to realize we're adults now, baby. And, you are the authority. You're in charge. When your boss is being a jerk and unreasonable and telling you to work late and to do this and to do this over, are you like, "Well, tell me why"? Or do you just go, "Yes, ma'am"? Do you just go, Yes, sir. Ugh, I don't know why he's like this. You don't even ask him. You don't even demand that he explain to you why he's like this. Why is that boss like this? Why is this woman like this? You just kind of accept it. But consider that, like, people can feel that way about you. You can just be a mystery. You can be seen as unreasonable, as incomprehensible because you refuse to explain yourself. People are going to just have to be confused. They're going to just have to they're going to have to be satisfied with whatever stories they can create about you because you're not explaining. You've spoken. You've spoken more than enough already. And I bet you found that no matter how much you explained, how articulately you expressed yourself, still didn't work, right? Still wasn't good enough. There was still more explaining. The person was probably like, well, that doesn't make sense to me. So then you were like, okay, well, let me try to explain it in a way that makes sense. No, you're the one in charge. You're the sovereign. Sorry, your boss doesn't explain why they do something crazy, why they want you to do something crazy, but they do expect you to just go along with it. Donald Trump doesn't, feel compelled to explain why he wants to, buy Greenland or have a wrestling match or, do whatever the Israelis tell him to. He just does it. And he expects everyone else to go and make it possible. And to, you can make a whole career off of being like, oh, he didn't explain why he did it. So let's speculate on why, what he could be thinking. Because ultimately, those people are still going to just let him do whatever, whether he explains or not. And they could be that same way with you if only you would resist the urge to explain yourself. You don't have to do it. Benjamin Netanyahu, all the crazy Israelis, all the Zionists, man, their whole thing is about explaining. Hasbara, their whole thing is about, and so they say whatever they need to justify the unjustifiable things they're doing. But that's kind of for y'all's benefit, because ultimately they're going to do whatever they want and then justify it later. Whether or not they have an explanation that actually makes sense or is actually valid to everyone else, they're still going to do it. If they were smart, which they're not, thank God, they would stop explaining themselves. They would recognize that the person in power doesn't have to explain. They just act and the world responds. The world is just confused. The world is just baffled and flabbergasted. And oh my God, what are we seeing? You don't have to explain. Stop explaining yourself. Okay? Stop explaining yourself. Even to yourself. Yeah. I haven't worked in almost a year, coming up on the 1-year anniversary of quitting, retiring, ascending from the Social Security Administration, from the strictures, from the, chains of working for the US government. But still, sometimes I will be having an amazing dream. I sleep now. I love to rest. I expend a lot of energy, just being so brilliant. So I gotta rest, and so do you, okay? But sometimes I'll be having a dream and it's so pleasant. I'm having so fun. I'm like bopping around the city with Billy and it's a fun dream. I'm doing something that I like. I'm in a hot tub. I'm walking around the city. And then in the dream, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be late for work. I got to call my supervisor. So in the dream, I'm finding my cell phone and trying to find my supervisor who is no one. I don't have a supervisor. And so I'm trying to find a number that doesn't exist to try to explain to them that I'm going to be late, that I'm not going to make work today. Well, even in my dreams, I'm still feeling like, oh, I can't fully relax. I have to let someone know where I am. I have to explain myself to someone. Someone has to understand what I'm doing, where I'm at, what my time frame is, when all of that is made up. It's literally a dream I'm having a year out from quitting my job. My nervous system, my dream state, there is still some authority figure, some supervisor that Sheba is trying to satisfy. Oh, Sheba is trying to explain herself to. Sheba has, convinced herself that there is some higher authority, there is some other authority who I have to justify my choices, my actions, my desires to. When that's a myth, babe, it's false. And it's crazy how we've normalized like asking permission to like go to the bathroom, asking permission to go to the doctor, asking permission to like, I don't know, do whatever you want, to set your own schedule. Like we've normalized like being at the beck and call of some micromanaging manager, of some like boundary smashing boss. When really you're the only authority that matters. And I feel like you are getting used to trusting yourself no matter what. Like when you were a child and you kind of had to just trust your parents were, when they're like, hey, we're going to this place, you weren't just like, why? And they didn't explain. They were just like, because we're going to this place, because I said we're going, put your shoes on. And now you are that parent, okay? But an even more loving, trusting one who has your best interest at heart even more, okay? And so now you are the parent who, when you're like, hey, we're gonna go get a snack, you don't go like, oh, but like we were working on this thing, or oh, I don't know, have I had too many snacks today or what? You don't, like, you're getting used to being like, yes, ma'am, to yourself. You're not demanding an explanation from yourself. So you're allowing yourself to feel your emotions, whatever emotions come up, and you're not like, explain yourself. Why did that emotion come up? What were you trying to tell me? What thing have I not healed yet? What lesson have I not learned? You're not being a drill sergeant when your emotions come up. You are not interrogating yourself, your inner child. You're not like, why are you here? Who sent you? What do you represent? You can do that. But the other aspect of you is like, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. It was not how it went. I don't even remember. You know what I'm talking about. We don't claim him though. Anyway, though, you don't explain yourself to anyone. You don't have to make sense to anyone, even yourself. You do have to trust yourself, though. You do have to trust that what you want, your desire, is correct. And following it is not going to lead you astray and lead you to ruin everything. Like, no, you're now here to just trust that when you're like, hey, we're going to go this direction, you're like, all right, boss, whatever you say. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, Your Highness. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, my liege. You don't ask for any explanations. You don't need to know the plan. You're just following now. You're following your trusted inner voice, your highest self, however you want to frame it, your inner child. It is you, your true self. And you're not requiring yourself to explain it. You are existing outside of the limits of logic now. Your intuition, it doesn't come with a like, oh, this is why you did this and it's related to this trauma and this thing. Like, babe, no. Just gotta listen. When something comes up, you gotta trust that you're safe to sit with it. You don't need to interrogate it. You don't need to demand that you explain, like, why did that come up? Why did you feel that way? Just feel it. Don't explain yourself. Just move. Just be moved how you want to move. Don't explain it. You're in charge. And you're allowed to set the rule that, like, I don't need to know. I don't need an explanation. Whatever you say goes. Wish granted. Wish granted. Whatever you say goes, ma'am. And that's it. I've spoken. It is done. Yeah. Move through the rest of your week like that. Stop explaining yourself to anyone. You can play dumb with your boss. Just because they text you wanting to know where you are, doesn't mean you have to go, okay, I was in the bathroom and then the plumber called and then they can be a little confused. They can be a little like, where are you? You can just be mysterious. You need to train them, whoever this authority, even if it's you, who's like demanding an explanation. You can train them that like you can demand all you want, but you're not going to get it. When you were a child, you could demand all you want. Like, parent, why are we doing this? Why are you making this choice? They didn't have to explain. Neither do you. You're not a child anymore. Now you're the one in charge. So stop explaining. I've delivered the message. And now I'm going to go take a bath. Love it. Happy full moon. I'm going to do a great full moon reading tomorrow. And yeah, so let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Would love to have you. If you have been with me for a while, love you guys so much. And, if you stick around video by video, you are going to learn the instructional tale of how I became the woman who went from easily receiving $5,000 every month to effortlessly receiving $100,000 every single month. Ooh, you can do it too. Anyway, keep watching and you'll see. Like Sheba. All right. Love you guys. And I will talk to you Earth Angels later, okay? Love you. Bye.